Sister Wives Meri Brown breaks down in tears, says she's free. Sister Wives star Meri Brown breaks down in tears as she declares that she is free. She has been through it with her ex-husband, Cody Brown, and now she is finally getting to live the life that she wants to. That entails freedom and excessive emotions. Keep reading for further details. Meri Brown breaks down in tears, says she's free. The last few episodes of Sister Wives have been very interesting for Meri Brown. She had to tell Cody and Robin Brown's small children she was leaving Flagstaff for Utah. Then, Cody was there to help her pack up the moving truck, and they seemed to get along the best they had in years. He even joked that she was his favorite ex-wife. The two had an intimate moment on the moving truck thanks to Meri's brother-in-law and Cody's best friend, Nathan. They could not contain their laughter until Cody claimed it was rude and offensive toward his last remaining wife, Robin. She then pulled up to say goodbye to Meri and ruined all of the fun and positivity. After Robin exited, Meri, Cody, and Nathan made it to Utah, where Cody got extremely emotional. He knew then that all of his dreams had fallen apart, and there was nothing he could do. Now, in the Sunday, November 31st episode of Sister Wives, Meri is further branching out, according to People. She is heading to London on her own, and it is a mixed bag of emotions. Meri Brown explained how this was a whole new world for her. She then went on to detail all the exciting places and haunts she headed to while across the pond. When she got to Stonehenge, it brought out the waterworks. Meri has been active in recent years and has not let anyone hold her back from following her dreams. She bought the B&B and has traveled with her NLM friends. Yet, this is the icing on the cake. More to the trip. Meri Brown could not hide her emotions as she continued to look around and experience all she had dreamed of. It also appeared to be a release from all she had been holding in. However, she noted that this was a freeing trip as it was her final separation from Cody Brown and a life she had lived for 3 decades. This will be really fun to see Meri on a new and different adventure. She is embracing all that life has to offer, and no one is stopping her. The cozy cafe was a stark contrast to the emotional storm raging inside Meri Brown. Warm light streamed through the windows, catching the steam rising from her untouched cup of chamomile tea. Her hands trembled as she clutched a crumpled napkin, dabbing away tears that had been falling freely for the better part of an hour. This wasn't a dramatic moment for the cameras. There were no producers nudging her to relive her pain for another ratings spike on Sister Wives. This was raw, unfiltered, and deeply personal. Meri had invited her longtime friend, Jen Sullivan, to join her. Jen, one of the few people who had seen Meri beyond the confines of reality TV, sat across from her, her brows knitted with concern. "Are you sure you're ready for this?" Jen asked gently, her voice barely audible over the soft hum of conversations around them. Meri nodded, though her eyes betrayed a cocktail of fear and relief. "It's not about being ready, Jen. It's about being done. I've waited long enough. I've fought hard enough. And for what? To be ignored? To be unloved." Her voice cracked, and another tear slipped down her cheek. Jen reached out, her hand covering Meri's. "You're so much stronger than you think. I've watched you carry this weight for years, Mer. If you say you're done, then it's time to let it go." The decision hadn't come lightly. For over a decade, Meri had been clinging to a marriage that no longer felt like a marriage, to a family dynamic that had shifted into something almost unrecognizable. When she married Cody Brown decades ago, she'd been filled with hope and excitement for the life they were building together. Even when plural marriage brought its challenges, Meri had believed in their bond. But somewhere along the way, things had changed. Cody had changed, or maybe she had. The final straw had come a week earlier, during what was supposed to be a family meeting. Cody had barely acknowledged Meri's presence, his focus entirely on Robin and her children. It wasn't jealousy that Meri felt. She had long since stopped comparing herself to Robin. It was emptiness. "I looked at him, Jen," Meri whispered, her voice hoarse from crying. "I looked at him and I realized he wasn't looking back. Not really. Not in the way he used to. He doesn't see me. And I can't keep begging for scraps of his attention." Jen nodded silently, letting Meri pour her heart out. Later that evening, Meri sat on the edge of her bed in the small inn she had recently purchased. It had been a dream of hers, owning a place where she could pour her energy into creating something beautiful, something hers. The inn had become her sanctuary, a space where she didn't feel overshadowed or overlooked. It was her project, her passion, and it reminded her that she was capable of thriving on her own. As she stared at her reflection in the antique mirror across the room, Meri reached for a pen and her leather-bound journal. She opened to a blank page, the weight of her thoughts pressing heavily on her chest. For years she had written in this journal, chronicling the highs and lows of her life. But tonight felt different. Tonight she wasn't writing to document. She was writing to release. Dear Meri, it's time. Time to stop waiting for someone else to validate your worth. Time to stop clinging to a past that no longer serves you. You've given everything you had to this marriage, to this family, and it's okay to admit that it's not enough anymore. You deserve to be seen, to be heard, to be loved fully and without conditions. Cody isn't going to change, and deep down, you know that. You've known it for a while. So why stay? Why let your light dim for someone who can't or won't see it? It's okay to let go. It doesn't mean you failed. It means you're brave enough to choose yourself. You spent so many years putting everyone else first. Now it's your turn. Love, Meri. The words felt like a weight lifted off her shoulders. For the first time in years, Meri didn't feel trapped by the expectations of others. She didn't feel defined by her role as Cody's first wife or as the outlier in the increasingly fractured Brown family. She felt free. The next morning, she woke up with a sense of clarity that had eluded her for years. She made herself a cup of coffee, wrapped a shawl around her shoulders, and stepped outside onto the porch of her inn. The crisp morning air filled her lungs, and for the first time in a long time, she felt like she could breathe. As she sipped her coffee, her phone buzzed on the small table beside her. It was a text from Cristin. Cristin, hey Mer, just wanted to check in. How are you doing? Meri smiled softly, her heart warming at the gesture. Cristin had been her biggest supporter in recent months, encouraging her to prioritize her happiness. She quickly typed a response. Meri, I'm good, really good. Thank you, Cristin, for everything. The response came almost immediately. Cristin, you deserve it. Mer, I'm so proud of you. Let's catch up soon. Meri, absolutely. As the sun rose higher in the sky, Meri felt an unfamiliar but welcome sense of hope. She didn't know exactly what the future held, but she was ready to embrace it on her own terms. For the first time in years, she wasn't looking back. She was moving forward, free from the chains of a relationship that had long since stopped being what she needed. And that, she realized, was the greatest freedom of all.